right, let's talk about what I think was the main story or the major story today in Santa Clara. There had to be at least 3, maybe 4 Brock Purdy to Ricky Pearsall connections on the day. And these guys are clearly working. They're clearly repping on a side field when we're not there. And they're getting on the same page. And we talked about this at the draft. This Pearsall thing, yeah, there were other receivers that had better this and better that. But in a lot of ways, we said, you know what, Pearsall's a perfect fit for Brock Purdy because Purdy loves to operate in the middle of the field. He needs somebody with ball skills and good hands who's a good route runner who operates in the middle of the field. Enter Ricky Pearsall. Today, they were spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. I asked Shanahan about it. I'm going to play you his comment. Here's Shanahan today at the presser after practice. I asked him about Pearsall and Purdy and how this thing's coming together. And here's what he had to say.
Kyle, how excited are you that Purdy and Pearsall seem to already have a little bit of a on-field connection and looks like they've repped it?
It's been fun to watch both of them. I know, Brock doesn't always get to watch how the route gets there, but he knows when guys end up in the right spot and they catch it. That's where quarterbacks get comfortable, and I think you can feel that with Ricky right away. He's been getting to the right spot, and when he has made mistakes, he understands it and corrects it, and I think that's why those guys are going to have a lot of fun working together.
Yeah, this is going to be, Raj, no, I'm not saying this as any kind of like, hey, Ayuk gets signed. This has nothing to do with Ayuk. Ayuk is considerably in its own category. Pearsall's not approaching Ayuk. But what I will say is that Purdy to Pearsall has potential to be prolific. And I'm not just trying to go alliteration. Purdy to Pearsall is prolific. Make a T-shirt.
We are making that T-shirt. We're going to do it.
But Purdy plays the game on time with accuracy. And this kid runs very precise routes with great ball skills and great hands. And Purdy loves to operate in the middle of the field, and this guy operates in the middle of the field. And when I asked Mooney Ward about Pearsall, he's like, yeah, man, he gains separation. He's got a lot of good footwork, a lot of good moves, really good route runner, And then when I asked him about Cowing, he's like, man, he's really, really fast. So I just think those two are going to make a huge impact. And I can't decide which one's going to make the bigger impact, but Cowing gives them a vertical threat and a guy that can get open, a good route runner with 4.38 speed. But Pearsall gives them a bigger bodied guy in the middle of the field that I think Purdy is going to be able to. These guys, you can kind of tell. It's like Purdy's the guy that spends all the time on the practice field working with his receivers when he's healthy. And Pearsall's the kind of guy that wants to do nothing but just run routes. And these guys are going to get more and more on the same page. And it's going to be one of these things where it's 3rd and 6. Kind of like what we saw at the end of the year with Stafford and Puka. Yeah. It's like, I guess it was Wentz in the Niner game, but Stafford and Puka developed this incredible rapport, and it became like literally the Rams could break the huddle and Stafford could yell, "I'm going to Puka." And everybody in the stadium, they could announce it. Matthew Stafford will be throwing the next pass to Puka Nacua. And the defense still could not really stop it because Puka was so precise with his route and the timing was so incredible. And it was like borderline unstoppable. I think Shanahan saw that and said, you know what? If we can find a borderline unstoppable type weapon that can be, just the guy that Brock can just find at will, that can take us to another level and keep us on the field and let us dominate the clock. I think we saw it today. I've been seeing it a little bit more every time, but really today, for the first time, it's clear you are not going to be able to stop Purdy to Pearsall. It is good. These guys are going. It's May. It's June. It's early June. It's like, wait till we get to these guys have practiced every day together for all through training camp. Wait till they've played 5 or 6 games together. These guys are going to be, you're going to have a guy throwing with anticipation, accuracy, and timing to a receiver who Kyle just described there is going to be in the right spot. And that's going to be very, very difficult to defend.
That's amazing to hear. I love to hear that the rookie building the rapport with Ayuk because let's be honest. I said about Kittle earlier, he might miss a game or two. Debo might miss a game or two, or Brandon, who knows? Somebody's gonna get hurt. It's just football, and for this guy to be able to, get that rapport with Brock, it's good. We need him. I mean, we don't know how many reps he's gonna get, targets he's gonna get a game. I mean, it's something you can't project. Rookies, it's always hard to project them, especially with Kyle. But when Ayuk was a rookie, he got a lot of play, and more than most people get. And if this guy's really building that rapport with Brock, Kyle's going to throw him out there. And this offense is expanding. It's, developing more and more since Kyle has gotten. They added CMC and all these other moving parts. And, if you really think about Purcell, it was a first round pick they've had in 3 years. And it was a wide receiver. So I think they really want to include this guy into their offense and make him an integral part. And it's good to hear that he's clicking so far. If you remember the Super Bowl, I know we're all trying to block it away. They probably would have won if they had another game-changing receiver to help out. Because I know they had Debo, I know they had Ayuk, but they just weren't getting open. They weren't separating. And what you said is this guy can separate. Now we need to see if he could do it at the pro level against pro cornerbacks and stuff. But as we're hearing right now, he's doing well and doing those things. But if they had one more that guy that could separate, one more guy in the middle, it might have helped them. And I think that's what this Ricky Pearsall guy can do for this team is open that up. Help Debo, help Ayuk, because Debo, he played through injury, but there's no excuse. Everybody played through injury. But, Ayuk, he was getting stuffed. He couldn't beat the man coverage. It is what it is. Debo was getting stuffed. He couldn't beat the man coverage. Maybe this guy, he could come in and separate a little bit, open it up, and then the defense has to, put some clamps on him, and then boom, Ayuk's open again. And then so I like it. I think it's good to know that he's developing some, good chemistry with Brock early on. They're both Arizona boys. So, they got that chemistry already intact and it's early. It's only going to get better from here. So I love to hear that.
Yeah, it's exciting. It really is exciting because it's going to be one of those things where other teams are going to be like, okay, we shut down Kittle. We've covered McCaffrey out of the backfield. We know, we somehow found a way to shut down Ayuk and Debo. And all of a sudden it's going to be like, well, wait a second. They're in three wides and here comes Pearsall, across the middle, freeing himself open and Purdy, throwing the ball on time. And it's just going to be like, oh my God, that is going to be really, really hard to stop. And to me, he reminds me a lot of Puka. He's not quite as physical as Puka, but he might be a little bit better route runner than Puka, a little bit shiftier.